But let's talk about the Kansas City Chiefs, man, and how freaking good is this dude, the cheetah, Tyreek Hill. 11 receptions, 197 yards, 1 touchdown. Hashtag Chiefs Kingdom as they take down the Browns 33-29. Tyreek. It's funny, we talked about his player prop line on Friday. And the number that we were a little concerned about, which I ended up taking the over, I was like, damn it, Mahomes, if he's going to throw for 300-plus yards, Tyreek is going to get his. 82.5 yards was Tyreek Hill's over-under receiving yard totals. We took the over on that, and he literally had that covered, I think, by quarter 2. He was over 82.5 yards.
Yeah.
I forgot what his reception total was. I think it was like 6.5 or 5.5.
6.5, yeah.
6.5. And you started looking through all of Tyreek's historical numbers, and you were like, dude, he doesn't catch a lot of passes. And in this one, I mean, he was uncoverable, absolutely uncoverable. I don't know if I have a future on him to lead the league in receiving. I think I did get some action on Tyreek to lead the league in receiving yards, and it's off to a fantastic start right here. If you had him in fantasy, you're really pleased. Patrick Mahomes, 27 for 36, 337 and 3, 1 rushing touchdown. Any quarterback rushing line prop that they give you is free freaking money. I think Mahomes over-under was like 10.5 rushing yards. I mean, he's going to get that every single week. What were your thoughts on Mahomes? I mean, Kelce went off 6 for 76 and 2 touchdowns. I was reading an interesting stat. So Heath Cummings this morning tweeted out this, and I thought this was interesting. 64.7% of Kansas City Chiefs targets went to Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce. No one else even reached a 10% target share. Hill and Kelce had 89.3% of the team's air yards in that game. And like I said, and like we've been saying, it's honestly Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill, or bust. Any thoughts from this one?
Man, I think you just nailed it. It really has become Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce or bust, and that's it. And you talk about Mahomes getting 300 yards. That's basically with Tyreek Hill dragging him to 200 and then Kelce dragging him another 75. So the other guys really aren't doing a whole lot in this game. Like even Clyde, I think, was third on the team in receiving with only 28 receiving yards on 3 receptions. Mecole Hardman, people wanted to make him a thing last year. And even for me, I kind of pounded the table for him. It's just not going to happen. And I think the more and more they get down, the more and more they're trying to get back into ball games. They really do rely on Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce, and they're probably going to see 30% target shares each this year. Like he's saying, they were up above 65% of the total targets. They're probably going to live around that 30% range, period, all season long. That's why they're great fantasy assets. That's why they score a ton of touchdowns. That's why they're great to play week in and week out. But it was still a spectacular performance, especially from Kelce, who we expected to have a tougher matchup against the Browns. But Tyreek really, really showed out in what we thought would be a tougher game for him. Again, it's all about the protection, and that protection was much better than we saw last season. It showed throughout the entire game. Mahomes had to do a bit of dancing out there, but ultimately he had the time. But that bomb was just ridiculous. Like it's one of those plays. It doesn't make sense how it was completed, but Mahomes got it there. Tyreek caught it, and once he caught it, it's a one-on-one race to the end zone, and Tyreek Hill's not losing that race.
Where are you at with Clyde Edwards-Helaire, man? Because he's somebody that I was still high on going into year 2, and a lot of people were like, oh, it's just week 1, the game script didn't matter, and my thinking is, dude, this has been a trend with CEH. Like, his uninvolved, he's just uninvolved in the offense. I think they run him just because they have to run the ball a little bit. But if they didn't have to run the ball at all, I don't think Kansas City would. Like, I don't think they would. And, this is, again, his best rushing performance. It was like week 1 of last season when he had like 150-something versus the New England Patriots. It's just, he was billed as this guy that was really shifty, could run between the tackles, but would dice you up in the passing game. And we just haven't seen it from Clyde. Like, I am... At this point, again, we try not to overreact in week 1, but we saw this all last year. Like, when he gets the ball out of the backfield, he's good. He looks good. But, I mean, he's clearly third on the pecking order. I just, like Stone says it, a wide receiver 2 doesn't exist in Kansas City. And I don't even know if a running back really exists in Kansas City. I look at some of my fantasy rosters where Clyde is the RB1 on that team because I kind of faded running backs, and I'm concerned. I'm very, very concerned. It's just frustrating because I think he's a good player. I think he's a talented running back, but, 14 for 43, and a lot of that came like in the third, fourth quarter. Like, he was uninvolved quarter 1, quarter 2, damn way through quarter 3. I don't know, man. Clyde, I don't know. I do not know. I have no clue how that's going to shake out. Baltimore versus Kansas City, or Kansas City at Baltimore, Sunday Night Football next week is going to be a really good one. Let's turn to the Browns real quick and talk about Baker Mayfield, who started off that game on fire and then absolutely was terrible in late when it counted, right? QBR of 14 in the fourth quarter, finished 21 for 28, 321 and an interception. Nick Chubb, 2 rushing touchdowns, 83 yards. He hit his rushing yard prop total. Kareem Hunt, 33 carries on 33 yards on 6 carries, 3 receptions, 28 yards. He also hit his player prop line of over 2.5 receptions and over 16.5 receiving yards. David Njoku, wow, surprise blast from the past. Him, Jarvis Landry, and Anthony Schwartz all went for over 69 yards. Odell Beckham Jr. was a late scratch. Absolutely killed me in some of my prop Browns lineups. I thought OBJ was going to play. He didn't play. But any takeaways from the Browns? Baker started off so good, and then I don't know if the offense let off the gas. I know they had a muffed punt that ended up setting Kansas City up for an easy score. It just seemed like a meltdown. And I'm watching this game, and I'm like, that's the difference between a team that is going to compete for a Super Bowl championship and a team that's really close but still needs to figure out how to close games. Disappointing loss for Cleveland, man.
Yeah, I think you kind of talked on a lot of big points there. The biggest one was the Chiefs were very quick to abandon the run. Very, very quick. They were down 10 points really early in that game, and they just abandoned the run entirely. But the thing is, and where, if you were watching the game or not, you were probably tracking the score, and you saw, Mahomes started to get going, and he scored a touchdown. And then he scored another touchdown. And then he scored another touchdown. And all
hold
of
on,
a sudden,
let me stop, because the people in the comments, y'all, stop this shit, man. It's not one game. This is a constant. Yeah. This has been a theme since 2020. Like, stop it. Stop trying to make excuses for something that we continue to see. This isn't just one game script. It's the game script of this week. It was the game script last season. I'm not saying Clyde is a bad player, but to sit here this morning and be like, oh, no worries, don't issue, don't panic, don't be alarmed. This is Kansas City. It's Kansas City. Yeah. If you're sitting back thinking that Clyde is going to be some running back that's going to get 19, 22 carries a game, 6 receptions, that's what we thought. That's what we thought. When Clyde was drafted by Kansas City in the first round last year, we didn't anticipate a 12-carry running back. We didn't think we were going to get a running back that got 3 receptions a game. People were literally pegging him as Brian Westbrook, Christian McCaffrey of this Kansas City Chiefs offense. He's not that. And it's not just week 1. And I like Clyde. I like him. If you want to have this blind faith that he's going to end up being a top running back, he's going to end up scoring you a ton of fantasy points, maybe he'll give you that week. Hollywood Brown may give us a week like that. Henry Ruggs may give us a week like that. But the reality is the expectations and what we wanted Clyde to be, being drafted out of LSU, he ain't that. He hasn't hit that, and it's bigger than week 1. I'm sorry, Jay. Go ahead, man. But we got to stop this, man. Stop.
You good, but you're right though, but people need to realize that the scary part is that he's not even taking away, like, I don't want to say taking away, but he can't even get targets from Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill, who already have massive target shares. So if he can't even so much as just get a few targets from them to where he's trusted in that offense, how are they going to trust him to tote the rock when they're down in games? How are they going to trust him between the tackles to score touchdowns? It's already showing me that it's just not a situation I really want to be involved with. So for me, it's just like, why are we holding on to this hope with CEH now? We might as well just cut bait, move forward.
I'm not gonna cut bait. I'm not saying that. Bait? I'm not cutting bait, but I'm just tempering expectations. I just don't think in this offense. Did you not just hear 64.7% of the targets? So everybody that's saying, oh, it's the game script, what the hell do you think CEH is? Nick Chubb?
Yeah.
You think he got game scripted out because he couldn't carry the ball? His calling card was receiving, and he should be game script dependent. If they're winning, he should be getting the carries. If they're losing, he should be a part of the passing game, and he's not. 65% of the targets went to Hill and Kelce. 89.3% of the team's air yards went to those two guys. He's not involved when they're down. He's not involved the way we want to when they're winning. What's the game script for Clyde then? Tell me. Do they need to be winning? Do they need to be losing? Because from what I drafted him to be, when I took him over JT in some leagues, God help me, that was a horrible decision. Is somebody that is game script dependent. It doesn't matter. Independent. Like, that's, like, what are we talking about, man? What are we talking about?
Yeah. No, 100%. But to talk about the Browns now, we saw Kareem Hunt get involved. I hope to see him get a little bit more involved. But again, as they started to reel more and more and more, they didn't get him as involved. Nick Chubb played great, better than I thought he would. Anthony Schwartz really filled in for Odell Beckham Jr. pretty well. But I don't know, was DPJ not involved? Was he not in the game? Was he hurt? I expected to see him more.
He was in the game. I thought I'd see a little bit more too.
I thought I saw him. Right? To think that Schwartz is going to be that outside threat was kind of blew my mind, but he played great. So clearly the offense got that part right. Seeing Njoku played well, Hooper played well, Jarvis obviously played well, rushed for a touchdown. Next week they get Houston, so they're going to be all right. They're going to be at home. They're probably going to beat Houston by like 40, even though Houston did look pretty well.
Houston looked good.
But
Houston looked good.
That vet squad, man, they were pretty good. Yeah. But I think the Browns, like you said, they just need to refocus. They lost to a player that is one of the best we've ever seen. This just happens in the NFL. It happens with Tom Brady. It might happen with Dak Prescott here and there. And it happens with Patrick Mahomes. And you just have to kind of accept that, yes, they made mistakes, but they are not a bad team for it. He is just that good. He's built different. And that's just something they'll have to overcome.